What's up, everyone? Jeff Pirishad here again from Swish 710 Bowling with another ball review, and today I'm really excited to be talking about the new Columbia 300 Cuda PowerCOR. Yep, that's right, Columbia is bringing back the Cuda C. It's a little different than the original Cuda C, so we'll talk about that. The RG on this ball is 2.50 and the differential is 0.047. It's a solid ball and it comes 500, then 1500 dull out of the box. Now, the original Cuda had that flip block on top and it had that Ceramicore nugget in the middle. But they can't do ceramic anymore, so they've changed it to a different material that is still super dense like the old Ceramicore was. So as you can see, it is pretty dull out of the box, and so we're going to talk about that for a second. If you want to skip ahead to the actual shots that I threw, go down to the timeline and you'll be able to see the notations for where the shots of me bowling with this ball are. But just want to talk about this a little. So you can see I actually shined mine up. Now, why did I do that? Well, back in the day, the Cuda C came dull, but almost everyone shined it up. And Columbia, with re-releasing the Cuda, what they're really doing is they're selling not just a bowling ball, but they're selling emotions. They're selling memories. They want you to remember how cool it was when you had a Cuda C in your hand and try to replicate that feeling with this ball. And for me, and for most everybody I knew, our Cudas were shiny. I used mine. As soon as I got it, polished it up, never looked back. So I took this ball, shined it up before I even put holes in it. I shined it up because I knew that's what I want. Now, for purposes of this review, you're not going to get to see what it looks like out of the box, what it does on the lane out of the box, but I'm sure there's plenty of staffers who post videos and you can watch those. I'm posting mine with it polished because it makes me happy. Those are the emotions that it gives me, so that's what I'm going to do. So now let's go down to the lanes and look at some shots with this ball polished. So I've got some shots in two different bowling centers for you today. First, we're in Greenacres Bowl in Greenacres, Florida, here in South Florida, and that was my first shot with the ball. No practice, didn't really know what it was going to do. I'm a little amped up, I'm throwing a little harder than I usually do, so I move a little left off of that first shot, and ball seems to be working really good, and I really like the shape that this ball's giving me. It's got a lot of length because of the polish. The change of direction is very smooth, but it's got some pop in the back end, which is exactly what you're looking for when you polish up a solid ball. You don't usually get that hard angular flip like you get from a pearl ball, but you still need it to have some kind of change of direction so that it can carry, especially when you move in a little bit. So now the ball's a little sensitive to the dry. This was a house shot, but it wasn't fresh. I threw about 2 games with a different bowling ball before I shot this video, so there is a little play on these lanes. So I'm playing a little further left than I would at the start, so I'm just going to move in a little more and see what this ball can do from deeper on conditions where I might actually switch to this ball and use it. So I move in, there's still a lot of volume in the middle, so I'm thinking, okay, well, now I've got to make sure I project it to the right. So I do that, and it's a little better, it's in the pocket, so now I've just got to tweak that a little. But I'm really liking the shape, I'm liking the reaction characteristics. I have to make sure that I don't overthrow it, obviously. But what the ball's giving me looks really good, and it's something that I can definitely adjust for. So now this is telling me that I'm just in the wrong place. I have to move more left. So that's what I do. And now all of a sudden the ball looks phenomenal. So instead of moving, I think it was 3 left, I had to move 5 or 6. Obviously I didn't know that at the time, but once I made the move, I'm like, oh, duh, I should have done that before the first time. So now that I've made the move, the ball looks like a killer. And it's starting to remind me more of what the Cuda was back in the day, where I could play right with it, I could play left with it, and the ball's generally in the pocket if I'm in the right place. No ball strikes every time, obviously, but if I'm making decent shots, this ball's giving me a really good chance to do something. And that's really all you can ask for, right? Is your job as a bowler is not to throw strikes. It's to give yourself the best chance to throw a strike. Just, get the ball out on the lane and let it do what it does. And that's exactly what this ball is doing. So now I'm taking the ball to Sawgrass Lanes down here in the Fort Lauderdale area. Sawgrass is a house known for being a little drier, but it's a lot more over under and a lot more touchy. So the ball's going to hook a little more here. I knew that. I knew there were some shots I'm going to throw and they're going to look good, and then all of a sudden they're just going to hook out of nowhere, because that's what this bowling center does. So, I'm just going along, throwing shots and just waiting and waiting for that one shot that's just all of a sudden going to go left out of nowhere. And until that happens, these shots look good. They're in the pocket. The ball's reacting. It's giving me that good reaction that I want. But then I get a little right, and oh, hey, what do you know? There's that overreaction that I was waiting for. So I want that right, that misroom. So I move left and start using that to my advantage. And so I'm opening up the lane a little more, using that hook spot and trying to get the ball into the pocket from there to see if it can do it. And the ball looks good. It's obviously something that I'm going to look to in my bag for when I have to move in a little bit and the volume isn't super high. I think the Cuda is giving me exactly what I'm looking for when I'm making that change. So let's talk about my final thoughts on the Cuda PowerCOR. First, regarding the reaction, it gave me good length. The change of direction was smooth, and as long as I wasn't too much in the oil with this polished surface, it had good hitting power and continuation. Second, remember what I said about selling emotions? Columbia hit it on the head with this one. Honestly, this ball could be completely terrible, and I probably wouldn't even care, because it made me smile the entire time I filmed this video. Thankfully, the ball was very good and not terrible in the slightest, but I was very happy with it. Third, I feel like the Cuda will fit into most arsenals as a benchmark plus type of ball. A predictable shape with good hitting power for when there isn't enough oil for a high-end asymmetric ball. So that's what I thought of the Columbia 300 Cuda PowerCOR. Please let me know what you all thought in the comments below. Also, if you wouldn't mind, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. They really help me out getting past the YouTube algorithm and getting my videos out to more people. I love making these videos, and I want to get them out as much as I can. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you next time. No shiny, mean, fishy ball.